There's fresh trouble for Chanda Kochhar, the former managing director and CEO of ICICI Bank. The Central Bureau of Investigation, or CBI, has registered an FIR against Chanda Kochhar, her husband Deepak Kochhar, who is the managing director of NuPower Renewables, and Venugopal Dhoot, the managing director of the Videocon Group. The CBI is alleging quid pro quo in ICICI Bank granting a loan to Videocon Group, and in return Videocon's Venugopal Dhoot investing in a company owned by Deepak Kochhar. The FIR also names current CEO Sandeep Bakshi, KV Kamath, Zareen Daruwala, NS Kannan and several others as part of the loan sanctioning committee which approved loans to the Videocon Group. They have not named them as accused. Remember, they've just named them as members of the committee who may be examined in this case. Now, before we proceed as to how this might impact ICICI Bank and others, let me get the person who got the story for us, Parikshit Luthra, our correspondent, as well as Utkarsh Chaturvedi, our correspondent in Bombay, who is at the place where the raids are being, searches are being conducted in the Videocon premises. First, Parikshit, you have the FIR with you. Can you mention the specific charges and against whom they are?
Well, this is a 10-page FIR that was filed by the Central Bureau of Investigation. And the FIR has been filed under sections of cheating, criminal conspiracy, also for illegal gratification, sections of the Prevention of Corruption Act. Now, this FIR is really open at this stage. It has been filed against Chanda Kochhar, Deepak Kochhar, also Venugopal Dhoot, the other Videocon companies as well, and it's open. It's possible that other public servants, government officials, private officials of the bank may also be named. Specifically, this FIR says, and it's based on a preliminary inquiry that was conducted over 1 year, it says that Chanda Kochhar abused her position as the head of this bank to sanction a loan to Videocon group of companies. They said that 6 high-value loans were granted to Videocon group of companies between 2008 and 2011, and all of that happened because of the presence of Chanda Kochhar in the sanctioning committee. One specific transaction that they speak about is that which took place on the 7th of September 2009. They say a 300 crore loan was disbursed to Videocon Group, and on the very next day, that is the 8th of September, VN Dhoot transferred an amount of 64 crore rupees to NuPower Renewables Limited, managed by Deepak Kochhar, husband of Chanda Kochhar. So this is one of the quid pro quo references. And this is also an important part. On the second page of this FIR, the probe officer goes on to say that there were other senior officials of ICICI Bank, other members of the sanctioning committee, namely Sandeep Bakshi, K. Ramkumar, Sanjay Chatterjee, NS Kannan, Zareen Daruwala, Rajiv Sabharwal, KV Kamath. They were all part of the selection committee, and their role can be probed as well in future. That is his recommendation to the Central Bureau of Investigation. These loans have turned NPA, resulting in wrongful loss to ICICI Bank and wrongful gain to the borrowers and accused persons.
Okay.
So it's quite possible that
Parikshit,
after these investigations, there could be an interrogation as well.
Parikshit, can you verbatim read what has been mentioned about the other officials? They were members of the committee. Can they be examined or their role probed? What are the exact words used?
Well, it says that these loans amounting to 1,575 crores were sanctioned on various dates by various committees having senior officials of ICICI Bank as members, namely Shri Sandeep Bakshi, K. Ramkumar, Sanjay Chatterjee, NS Kannan, Zareen Daruwala, Rajiv Sabharwal, KV Kamath, Homi Khusro Khan. These loans have turned NPA, resulting in wrongful loss to ICICI and wrongful gain to the borrowers and accused persons. The role of these senior officers of the sanctioning committee may also be investigated. I would like to tell our viewers the difference between them being named in the FIR and they being named as an accused. There is clearly one sheet in the FIR which mentions a list of accused persons. It consists of 8 people: Videocon International Electronics Limited, Videocon Industries Limited, VN Dhoot, Chanda Kochhar, Deepak Kochhar, NuPower Renewables, Supreme Energy, other unknown private persons, unknown public servants. And this has been signed by the investigating officer. So these are the people who will be proceeded against at this stage. And these people whom I named earlier, who are mentioned on the second page, The CBI officer who conducted the preliminary inquiry says that they can be probed as well. Their role may be probed. So now it is up to the CBI to take this forward, and clearly they're under scanner, because these 2 points give it away. Other unknown private persons, unknown public servants. So quite possible that at a later stage, they may be brought under the ambit of probe.
Right. Okay, there it is now. Actually, now the entity ICICI Bank seems to be harmed, or from what you have read, seems to be the victim of the actions of the people named, the people accused in the FIR, that is the two coachers and Venugopal Dhoot. So I'm just trying to see whether there is a legal case against ICICI Bank. But the way you have read it, it looks like it is a victim of the actions of these individuals. That will be important for us from a shareholder point of view. Parikshit, thank you very much for reading out the exact wording of the FIR. Let me come to you, Utkarsh. We understand the CBI carried out raids in the offices of the Videocon Group and Deepak Kochhar's companies. Where are you located at this point in time, and what have you seen so far?
So as we speak, the searches are currently on. In fact, it was somewhere in the morning at 11 o'clock that 4 teams of CBI reached 4 different locations. Now, one was in the Videocon office in Aurangabad. One was here. I'm at the headquarters of Videocon in Mittal Court, which is in Nariman Point, and 2 offices of NuPower where the CBI teams have reached. We have a confirmation that the teams at this point of time, at least in Mittal Court, are still investigating the cases. Now, let me give you a drill of how the investigations really go through. Now, first of all, we have to really look that is it only first day and 1 day investigations and raids and searches by CBI, because in most of the cases it has happened that CBI has taken 2 to 3 days to really find the appropriate documents they're looking at when they were doing the preliminary inquiry. Now, the second step in any of these cases is that all of these documents which CBI will procure from here, then there will be a round of summons which can happen. That can also include the people who are named in the FIR, who are as accused. There can be people who are in the part of the FIR, and also there can be different people. If you remember, in the case of Nirav Modi, a lot of arrests which were made, there was no mention of them in the FIR, so that can also happen. And then also remember, Lata, that we have been speaking to our sources in the Enforcement Directorate, and what they are telling us that they have also started looking at the FIR. Now remember that Enforcement Directorate cannot sue more to take a case, but it needs a predicate offence to be registered by either CBI or any other agency. And now when we are speaking to Enforcement Directorate, what they are telling us is that they have also started looking at this case of seeing a possible money laundering in this case, and income tax is already looking at this case. So we'll have to really see now how the investigations function. The first thing is this 1 day of raid, or the raids continue, and next will be the round of summons to whom we'll have to know.
Okay. All right, so there will be other investigations and other authorities who will look at the various books and investigate and question people. Thank you very much, Utkarsh, for that. Now, what does this mean to the listed ICICI and, to the other persons mentioned who are now in various capacities in various banks? Sriram Subramanian of InGovern joins us now. Sriram, thank you very much. Well, first up, it actually looked as if this case was dying out, and if Justice Sri Krishna had submitted his report, the case would have gone into history and ICICI would have had a new lease of life. Does it look like the past will come to haunt?
It definitely looks like at least the investigations are on or taken a serious note now. And hopefully the investigating agency, which is CBI in this case, come to conclusions fast, because at the end of the day, the preliminary inquiry itself has taken about a year. And so investors will be left wondering as to what is it that is taking so much time. And two is investors are also wondering why Justice Sri Krishna report is also taking a long time, because it is almost 6 months since the committee has been constituted, and it's not clear as to within what time frame the report will be out and investors will be this one.
Okay.
But thankfully, Chanda Kochhar stepping off the company, outside the leaving the company, has sort of at least insulated the company to some extent.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is.
That's what I wanted to ask you. See, the sanctioning committee's names have been committee members' names have been mentioned, that they may be examined and probed for their role at a later date. Now, does this expose ICICI, because it is listed abroad as well on the on the NYSE, I think? Does it expose it to any legal issues outside? The way in which my colleague read out the FIR, the bank looks more like a victim of actions perpetrated by the people, by the accused. But is the entity itself, legally, can it be legally taken to court in any other jurisdiction?
Yes and no. I mean, obviously, there has to be some other linkages established that Chanda Kochhar, as MD, placed undue influence on other members of the committee. If there is something of that sort to be established, or some other committee members also choose to or benefited personally from sanctioning this loan, then maybe that sort of evidence, if it's there, then obviously it's a much more serious matter.
Okay.
So as of now, as it stands, or whatever allegations are there till now, doesn't seem to link the other committee members.
Okay. Yes, exactly. At the most, it can be an error of omission, isn't it, on the part of the others? Can it really become, because, some of them are managing director, senior positions in other banks. Is it really very serious, the way in which the FIR is worded? Or is it how, can it turn into something serious?
No, obviously a lot depends on the evidence. So we don't know what CBI, what thread it is behind, and we don't know whether what is the nature of evidence that they have collected. So within the company itself, whether there was undue influence placed by Ms. Kochhar on the other committee members. So all these, I think, would come to bear.
What about the Sri Krishna report itself? It looks a little awkward, isn't it? Now, if he were to give a report saying that he did notice some indiscretion, it will be used as evidence against her by the CBI. And he is a retired judge of the Supreme Court. If he were to give her a clean chit, that also will kind of make it awkward or difficult for CBI. Under the circumstances, can this report be made public?
No, at the very least, see, obviously a report is also based on some evidence, I hope. And so evidence and some logic, coming to some logical conclusion. So if you go back to the first instance, I mean, the board rushed to defend the Chanda Kochhar, saying that there is no evidence. And subsequently, only after a few months did they constitute this justiciary. So this Justice Sri Krishna committee has to examine, or at least has to base its report on evidentiary, I would say, documents.
Okay.
And so from that perspective, at least whatever conclusion they arrive at should be on a logical ground. But I agree that if their report had been available in the public earlier than today, it would have been...
Okay, well, finally, I just want to make a suggestion that will occur to many people. Almost everything about this case, this whistleblower, the whistleblower's letter, was known to people everywhere, both in RBI and in New Delhi 2 years ago. Does it look like this investigation, this FIR, as you said, taking a year, is more like wanting to make a point before the elections that we are after cronies, that, we are after cleaning up the system? Can you put that charge on this entire FIR?
That is, I mean, that is a submission which anybody can make. But yeah, that's a political angle that you are doing to this. But why only a single case? And why not many other cases out there which are out there?
Okay. Well, that's a point. But of course, there are other kinds of cases which the government is pursuing. Sriram, thank you very much for joining us.